Good evening, folks. This is Deb. You know, it's a little chilly here today, but you know something? This is my time of year. This is perfect weather for me. I'd rather be in a sweatshirt than be dying of the heat. So, one of the things I wanted to talk about, because people have been commenting on the thread, is that, Caitlin Clark will need to be in game shape um, when she returns in 2026. And that is very true, okay? So that will require her to probably play some basketball in the off season. So what will she do? Um, I don't know. I do know that um, the FIVA organization is committed to doing whatever Caitlin Clark needs to get herself ready for the 2026 season. Okay, they publicly stated that. She is their franchise player, and they know that. So there are any number of things she could do. She could go to Europe and play some basketball. I'm not sure that Caitlin Clark will do that. She could play in Unrivaled, which is the 3-on-3 league. And as you know, the CEO of Unrivaled has said that he has not been pressuring Caitlin Clark to come and join Unrivaled in the off season, but there is always a slot available to her, and he's even offering her equity in the team. So, will she play in Unrivaled this year? Now, she did not play last year, but she also stated she wouldn't rule out playing for it, for Unrivaled somewhere down the road. Maybe the situation with her injury this year and her inability to be on the court to play real basketball, that will change her mind and she will play in Unrivaled this year. There is a third alternative, though, and it's called Athletes Unlimited. And it's in its fifth year. 2026, I believe, will be its fifth year. It's in Nashville. They play in Nashville. Let's pull this up here so you can see it. They play in Nashville. It's kind of a different format. It gives women an opportunity to play 5-on-5 basketball, so actual full court basketball, and the option to stay in the U.S. year round. Okay, a lot of athletes go to Europe to supplement their income. So a lot of players take advantage of this. And some of the players, by the way, that are playing for the Fever right now have participated in Athletes Unlimited in the past. It's a player-driven league, okay? It's got a different kind of scoring system, okay? It's not the same as playing like WNBA basketball, okay? Off the court, they can recruit other pros, create league rules, retain equity in the league. On the court, the top 4 players become new captains each week and draft their teams from scratch for each week's game. So what would that do for Caitlin Clark? That would give her an opportunity to play with and against a variety of different players, okay? It says here, anyone can score big. Every player can lose or win points during every game. They score points as individuals and as a team. And that is the way they win cash bonuses and MVP titles. After each game, players and fans get a chance to vote for their MVP. So this has been pretty well received in Nashville, by the way. It is the only pro sport league in the city of Nashville, okay? So it did pretty well. It's done pretty well over the past 5 years. So who do they have playing? I believe these are some of the people who have played: Melissa Smith, Maddie Segrist, that's Sydney Colson right there. She's played in the past. I doubt that she'll be playing this year because of her injury, but Odyssey Sims has played here. So this is a and actually Bree Hall, who is now playing for the Fever for the rest of the season, who they signed also, um, is joining for season 5. So she will be here. And this could be a great opportunity for Caitlin Clark to get in game shape. Okay, it's not a traditional basketball format, but they're playing fast-paced, up and down the court, 5-on-5 basketball. And I do believe that that is what she prefers to 3-on-3 basketball. But we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what she chooses to do in the off season. I know she will be continuing to work on her rehab and getting her injury straightened out. But at some point, she will need to play real basketball, real contact basketball, to be able to return to the court ready to go in 2026 in May when the season starts. So that is an option. There are several options. As I said, she can go to Europe, she can play in Unrivaled, or she can play in Athletes Unlimited. So the doors are open to her. And as I've said, the Fever organization is committed to giving her whatever resources and whatever she needs to do to get herself back in game shape for the opening day in May of 2026. So one other thing I wanted to touch upon, because it seems to continue to be a hot topic out there in the netherworld of basketball, is I'm gonna repeat myself, okay? Because I can. Why isn't Paige Bueckers as popular as Caitlin Clark? Well, because I'm sorry, folks, this is not rocket science, okay? We keep having these round and round and round the merry-go-round discussions about why this, why that, why isn't Paige Bueckers as popular? Because Paige Bueckers is not Caitlin Clark, okay? She's a great basketball player, okay? She's young, she's talented, she can shoot the lights out of the basketball, but she's not Caitlin Clark. She does not have Caitlin Clark's court vision. She does not have Caitlin Clark's passing ability. She also does not have Caitlin Clark's personality. And you cannot force the American people and basketball fans to like someone as much as Caitlin Clark. It cannot be forced. That does not happen. It just does not work that way. So I don't know why we keep going on and on and on about this. We just seem to not be able to let shit go. Let it go. Okay? Let it go, because this isn't complicated. Paige Bueckers is Paige Bueckers. Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark. There are levels. There are levels to this game. They're not here. It's more like this, okay? I don't understand what people don't understand. I don't understand what people expect. Somehow they want to will this rivalry to happen. And I get the need for a rivalry, okay? I get the need for a rivalry because this is what made, when the NBA started to turn the corner on profitability, quite frankly, was the Bird and Magic rivalry. That really set the NBA on fire. But that was a real rivalry, okay? It was a real rivalry. I know Magic was a guard and Bird was a forward, okay? Bird was a small forward. But they were about the same size. They had similar skill sets. And they were the leaders of their teams. And they are the ones that actually helped the NBA turn the corner. All right? So I understand that the WNBA needs a rival for Caitlin Clark. And, they tried that shit with Angel Reese. And that's gone belly up because, I'm sorry, folks, but that's a That's not happening. There is no rivalry there. They may have been a rivalry when they were in college, okay? But there's not a rivalry in the WNBA. Yes, Kate, yes, I know. I know that Angel Reese is the leading rebounder in the WNBA. She gets a lot of me bounds. I'm going to say it. She just doesn't look natural going to the basket. And it's something I have tried to convince myself that I may have like this blind spot where I just don't like her. So I'm not acknowledging that she's a great player. I just don't see it. Okay. I do see her fiercely rebounding. I do get that. But that does not a rivalry make. So I understand their desperation to manufacture a rivalry for Caitlin Clark. And Paige Bueckers, on the face of it, would be the most logical choice. They're both guards. They're both point guards. Okay? They both can shoot. But that's, to me, where the similarity ends. This isn't complicated. We're overcomplicating this thing. At some point, there'll be a natural-born rival for Caitlin Clark. But you can't stage that kind of stuff. It just does not work that way. Okay? They didn't stage Bird and Magic. They were rivals in college. It carried over into the NBA. One went to play for the Celtics, the greatest team in the East over a period of decades, and one went to play for the Lakers, another great team over the decades on the West Coast. It was a natural-born thing, and it worked great for the entire time they were together in the league. And they actually became really good friends, and I was there when Larry Bird retired in the old Boston Garden, and Magic Johnson was there for that. I remember being there. I got the ticket hanging up in my hall. So, yeah, I get that they need a rival. We'll see what happens next year. Maybe they'll have one. Maybe something will come up. But you cannot force people to like somebody as much as another player. It just does not work that way. Okay? It happens organically. So that's really what I got, except for one thing. I do know that, I notice that people comment on my Beatles things behind me and stuff, and I don't seem to have any Caitlin Clark stuff here, but you would be totally wrong, okay? It's just that you guys can't see it. And at 71, I am in no mood to move my room around, okay? Right now, I'm redoing my daughter's room. So that's enough work for me. So I am in no mood to move my room around. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to film my Caitlin Clark shrine for you folks. And I'll put it up on a future video. I'll do it like within the next week. And I'll show you what I got. I got plenty of stuff, okay? Got Wilson basketballs, okay? I got all kinds of stuff here. I got hats. I got rookie cards. I got a big-ass banner that I had made for when the Fever came to Boston. I got all kinds of good stuff here. I got a great Caitlin Clark poster. So, yeah. So I will film that for you, and I will show you what my shrine looks like. And maybe someday when I'm, in the mood or I'm not exhausted, I will shift my room around a little so that you can see what's behind me. Okay? So that's what I've got for tonight. Tomorrow night, last game of the season. Against who? The Lynx. So I know that they've clinched their slot, right? But I always think it's good to not let up, right? I always said that. I used to hate it when I thought the Celtics were letting up because they had things clinched, because it was like you should be going into this waiting period before the playoffs start with some kind of victory under your belt. So I know that's a big ask, okay? Because the Lynx are killer this year. There's no question about that. And as I've said, the Fever doesn't have Caitlin Clark and, 4 other key players. So that's a big ask, even at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. But we'll see how it goes. And we wish the team the best. I will be watching tomorrow night. and I will be back. I'm working till 2, but I will be back tomorrow after the game, and we can talk a little bit. So you guys have a great night. We'll see where Caitlin goes in the off season, what she does, and I personally think it's going to be once we get through the playoffs. I don't know how far we're going to get. Once we get through the playoffs, I think after the playoffs are cleared up, we're going to start seeing CBA action. And then we're going to start seeing movement. Free agent time. There's a lot of free agents. We got to figure out where the injured players that are for our team, if they're going to be coming back. I don't know about Sydney Colson. I don't know about Ari McDonald. Remember, she was a hardship signing. So I think there's going to be some movement on the Fever for sure. And I still say they need a power forward. Okay? They got a small forward in Natasha Howard. They need a power forward. By the way, all of the people who came in last year were on 1-year contracts, including Stephanie White. So we will see where this goes. It's going to be a busy off season, I promise you. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a great night.